What's up, everybody? James Ziegler here, aka the Chiseler, here to share another story with you guys, sharing a little bit of me with you. Um, yeah, and I just hope these stories, touch someone's heart and uh, other people can relate to what I'm going through to, just feel like they're not alone and they too can, overcome and learn and not feel like a victim from what they went through. But just continuing on my stories, moving on with from my, I think it was my auntie house. Yeah. My auntie house to um my uncle house. So yeah, after I mean, I didn't really stay at my auntie house, but like I was just like spending nights without her knowing, and then she like, finally found out, and then walked in and was like, get out. You can't stay here, sleep here, whatever. So then, yeah, I was in the streets after that, and slept in vans and cars, and I was stealing cars, and not really, living a productive, honorable lifestyle, or whatever. Really homeless at that point. Um, and so yeah, I was stealing cars every day, every week to have a place to stay and get around and drive and do what I got to do, make little hustles and bustles here and there, and stole one too many cars and ended up in jail. One night we was out riding about, and I had a stolen car already, but I was with one of my younger cats, and they wanted to steal a car themselves to just feel good about themselves. It's not like we needed a car or whatever. He just wanted to just say he did it and he's done it or whatever. But so we went out that night, and obviously, one thing led to another. We went into this neighborhood and um and stole the car, and it wouldn't work. Um and he said it wasn't working, so I got out and tried to see what I can do. I told him what to do, and then I got out and see if I could get it to work or whatever. But yeah, initially it didn't work. The car, something was wrong with the car. So, um, but then the car that we had ended up breaking down, and so it was like, fuck, we need a car now. So, but the car, like it was running, but like it was it was messed up to where, like, if you turned it off, it would be a bitch to get started back going. So my friend, I guess, didn't know and cut off the car, and then the car wouldn't start back up. So we needed to jump. I figured out we needed to get a jump, and we tried to get a jump, and we was trying to, we was in a neighborhood that was predominantly white, and we kind of looked sketchy, so we was standing in the middle of the road trying to flag down the car to try to give us a jump, and the lady just like swerved out the way and just kept going. But that lady was the one that called the cops and told the cops that she just thought there was some sketchy people out in the middle of the road. And so they came, and they, the first one came out of out of care, to see what was going on, to see if we needed any help. And then two more rolled up, and they were the dick cops. They came out and was like, license and registrations and blah blah blah, and obviously we didn't have that, so we made up a lie and said our friend let us use the car, and and yeah, they eventually, saw through, or just our story wasn't, like, I guess, believable or whatever. But due to not having any license and due to not having any registrations, and we was just like, this our friend car, and he let us borrow it. So they still took us down, but they didn't hold us for too long or whatever. But I did do some time, just a couple of weeks or whatever. But after doing that, I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have no nobody to call to get released, to have an address for them to release me to or whatever. So, but I did call my dad, and he was like, okay, I release him unto me or whatever, which they did. But then my dad told me to go live with my uncle, which is his older brother. And oh, no, his younger brother. My dad is like the second oldest, which is his younger brother. And but my uncle, it was on, used to be on dope, really hardcore. He was the father of the cousin that my mom adopted, that I talked about in another story. And him and his wife was on dope, for a long time. So he was clean, but he was a very paranoid guy at this point now, you know what I mean? Just was always to himself, didn't trust nobody, always on edge, always, thinking somebody was out to get him, scheme him, scam him, was a shady individual or whatever. But I lived with him for a couple months, and and I still had the heart to help people, so like my cousin that went homeless when I got kicked out of my godfather's house. He still was homeless. He got kicked out of his mom's house. And so I still had my heart open and was still allowing him to come into the house and sleep, because I had the keys. I was paying rent at my uncle's house. I think so, maybe not, but maybe not. But I had the keys, and I was allowing him to come over and sleep and rest up for the night without having to go, sleeping on the buses like we used to. We used to have to sleep on the bus and ride the bus all night. We used to have to sleep on park benches. We used to have to, sleep at the BART station, ride the BART all night and sleep at the bus stops and, just hang out all night until we passed out, and then we woke up, and then just kept it moving throughout the day or whatever. But, so just knowing that was hard or whatever. So avoiding him from having to do that and getting robbed or whatever it may be, him getting into a worse situation, I allowed him to come, crash at my house when he needed to, and, take a shower, rest up, whatever. And then obviously get back out there. But after a while, my uncle, caught wind of it and, kind of didn't like it. And I don't know, for some reason, my uncle thought I was gay because he, like I said, that's my cousin through marriage on my mom's side, and he wasn't acquainted with that situation. So he didn't know it was my cousin. So like I said, he just created a story in his head, which was crazy. What the fuck? But yeah, he just came up with some crazy stories, and he just got paranoid and didn't trust the situation, and so he basically said I had to go, I lost my keys a couple times, but I paid to get the locks changed every time. I mean, it was like a couple times, like 2-3 times, and he just like, that was just one too many time, so he just was like, I had to go or whatever. So he kicked me out of so yeah, I had to leave. He kicked me out of his house. And yeah, I mean, from there, honestly, not sure where I went. I think I went to my coach, because I was still like going to school, going to a community college, and I was playing football. I guess, yeah, because like once I started going to my uncle's house and enrolled back into college and, trying to get shit together, and I started playing football and got on the team, and so then once that happened, once he kicked me out, I contacted my coach, and it was a couple guys that was also looking for like a place to stay that was on the team that was kind of, from the hood, that was, had a little rough. So he like, you know, he like worked it out to where we all roomed together, and we like worked at the college to pay the rent and stuff like that. So that's where I ended up moving to. And yeah, so like that's the story of the next person that kicked me out, which is my uncle. So and again, like I said, no hard feelings towards him, just the story of the chronological order of what happened in my life. And again, hard lessons learned. You know, like it was a lesson that I had to learn his boundaries, and everybody have boundaries, and it was his house, his rules, and I should have learned or recognized his boundaries of him, and how he ran his house, and how what made him comfortable in his own space, and added to the table and brought value. You know, I mean, I wasn't dirty, but you know, there's just obviously little things that he obviously for him were big things for him. So yeah, those are just, you know, lessons learned. And I want people to go out and recognize that, you know, if it's not your living situation, you have to humble yourself and bring value to the house, to the table, to and learn their boundaries, so you know you're not you know, disturbing their peace of mind in the home that they built and created for themselves or whatever. So until you can get out and get your own shit. So but yeah, so peace and love to everybody. That's the next story. I think I got two more places that I stayed at before I learned the lessons of humbling myself and putting my pride aside, and to learn how to, you know, live underneath someone's roof, which I am now. So, you know, still trying to work on getting my own shit. So yeah, so that's the story. And go out there and spread some peace in people's minds and love in people's heart, and stay physical and stay chiseled. Right on.